the ground up. Beginning at the base of the Brooks Range Mountains, it's an ever-changing adventure. Peaceful, perilous, breathtaking. 600 miles down the Noatak River. Experience the wonder. Travel through Alaska in kayaks.
Until now, the Brooks Range had been scarcely explored, only mapped from the air. Only a few inland Eskimo, and now and then, a few mad gold prospectors. Otherwise, few had braved the mountains. The living conditions in these mountainous wastes are simply too harsh. The problem is not how to live, but how to survive. Skillfully, Tony landed the small aircraft on a flat gravel bank by the Noatak. The wheels making deep ruts in the shingle. We had arrived at our destination and the start of a long kayak trip. From now on, we could not rely on outside help, but we were, so we thought, well prepared. We had good equipment with us and the experience of many expeditions. Tony marked our position on the map. According to that, we had a river distance of almost 400 miles before us. 400 miles through uninhabited wilderness. However, we were to be mistaken. Our map was not accurate enough, and it didn't tell us how things can change. In the end, we had not 400, but over 600 miles to paddle, always worrying if our provisions would last. Really mad. We, who for generations have lived with technical progress, suddenly need to return to the elements. Our pilot, whose parents still live the life of Stone Age people, hunts in an aeroplane and has lost all association with the Eskimo kayak. But what we were doing interests him a lot. An inflatable kayak is, after all, not to be seen every day north of the Arctic Circle. For us, it was our only means of emerging from the great wilderness again. Now we were alone in the wilderness. The noise of Tony's aircraft died away quickly. Soon there was only a soft hum to be heard, then silence, both welcome and at the same time frightening. So, friends, here's to a good journey, the last drink of beer for weeks. It became cool, but we enjoyed the dry, fresh air. Final preparations. We assembled the kayak, stowed the provisions, the sleeping bags, and everything we needed to live under an open sky. Fred discovered some moose antlers. This discovery contradicts the claim of zoologists that moose are not found as far north as the Brooks Range. Only a few animals, relative to the size of the country, live north of the Arctic Circle. The harsh climate has restricted the number of animals and plant life. Certainly, some 700,000 caribou pass through the tundra each summer. Yet you can travel the region for years without catching sight of one of the large herds. Caribou are very well equipped for their harsh environment. They're protected by means of an exceptionally thick pelt, and their broad hooves carry them over bog and soft snow. With each stroke of the paddle, we plunge deeper into the wilderness, into its peacefulness, into the unknown. The cramp, which the pressure of time, and the irritability which city life had produced, fall away from us. We didn't think of that at all. Glass clear, the Noatak flows through the mountains. No fish to be seen, only the shadows of our canoes hurrying over the gravel riverbed. Framework close to the bank. A few feet away, a prospector's pan, a pickaxe, and on the ground, an arrow marker wrapped in silver paper. The abandoned camp of a gold prospector. The frame served as a simple sleeping place. In the surroundings are scattered strips of an inflatable boat and other bits of equipment. Not to be missed, the emergency sign known throughout Alaska. Seek me in this direction. He who wishes to come out of this wilderness on foot would have had little chance of survival. Some days later, we discovered a second camp and met a highly unusual prospector. He had neither fingers nor teeth. Jim Joyner. From him we learned that the other gold prospector, who'd had himself flown in with provisions and an inflatable boat 2 years ago, has never been seen again. It's still possible today to buy a claim, to stake out 1/4 of a mile of land. The high price of gold again makes prospecting a rewarding job. Jim seemed to be one of the dedicated gold prospectors, one possessed. He too had the constant fear in the back of his mind that a bear might attack him. He also came to feel the relentless harshness of the region when he had to make an emergency landing in the tundra. His hands and feet froze during the 40-mile walk back at 40 degrees below zero.
I bring a girl up, and we go put up big stakes, put everybody red flag on them to see that it's my ground. But I have a big...
Jim seems to have found a profitable site. In each pan, a few grains glint. Hopefully, he will bring his small fortune home. He was horrified that we were traveling without weapons. He said he wouldn't spend a single night here without a weapon. Day after day, we paddled on glass-clear water, gradually losing sense of time. There is no night. If the sun should disappear behind the mountains, it can always be seen just above the horizon before it climbs up high again. Evening and midday differ only a little. There is no shortage of camping sites. Mostly, we didn't put up a tent, preferring to bivouac on a sandbank within range of our boats. But since we had seen the shredded inflatable boat, we no longer left our canoes out of sight. How little one missed civilization here. At last, we had space. At midnight, you can cast your fishing line. And there are hundreds of crystal clear brooks to offer you drinking water. Today, for the first time, we managed to supplement our meager rations. After almost every cast, A trout wiggled on the hook. Sometimes trout sizzled on our barbecue. Sometimes it was salmon. Mostly we sat for 10 hours daily in our kayaks, when even dry bread would taste good. How much better the first fresh no-attack salmon. Law of nature, cycle of life. The larger eats the smaller, the stronger the weaker. In the wilderness, man certainly is not always the larger or the stronger. Large bear tracks remind us of this. Almost every sandbank carries the mark of the predator, which seems to be present everywhere, and which one nevertheless hardly ever sees. And when you meet a grizzly face to face in the open, you forget photography. You merely look on spellbound with a feeling of curiosity and fear. Usually, however, the bear is frightened of man and takes flight if he smells or hears one. For hours, the Arctic sunset, which doesn't seem to end. Who then wants to crawl into a tent? Frequently, our camp was on a hard gravel bank. Here we were plagued less by midges than in the tundra, and we had a better field of view in case of attack. But our bear also lies down in his sleeping bag, his skin. A sleeping bear offers a picture of complete relaxation. Mostly, he lies down in places where the airstream will warn of any intrusion. Full from a meal of caribou, he has something left over, so we hoped that he would have no appetite for us. The night passed without disturbance, but a fresh wolf track made it clear to us once more that here the wilderness reaches, so to speak, into the bedroom. Fred quickly caught a few trout. That would spare us another meal of cereal. Then we dipped our paddles into the no-attack again for many more hours.
Roll through the roughest when Alaska continues.
Brought to you in part by the State of Alaska Division of Tourism.
Before you try anything new on an Alaska Airlines flight, we try it first.
Too spicy? Too spicy. Too spicy. More? More. Too far. Too far? Too far. Too far. Still too spicy? Still too spicy. Still too spicy. Louder? Louder. Louder. Louder? Louder. Louder. Too loud. Too loud. Too loud.
Why does Alaska Airlines go to all this trouble? So you won't have to.
Next time you rent a car anywhere in the world, be sure to use Gold MasterCard, and you'll automatically be protected with Master Rental, the best car rental insurance any card offers. Should anything happen, we'll take care of you, pay for it, handle the paperwork. All you do is make one easy phone call anytime. That's simpler and better than American Express. Master Rental, from the world's #1 gold card, Gold MasterCard.
She moves, she fast, she close as you dare. You're in the pink with Bikini Bear.
Lee presents 2 great ways to shave a woman's sensitive skin: Bikini Bear Shaving Cream and Bikini Bear Shaving Gel.
Fragrance made for a woman.
Even on sensitive skin, blades just glide as hair is swept away with Bikini Bear. Made with expensive silk protein, designed to leave a woman's skin smoother, softer. Bikini Bear Shaving Cream or Gel.
You're in the pink with Bikini Bear.
We love our children at all ages, from all places. Unfortunately, some kids aren't loved. Kids like these, they're abused, they're battered, they're driven into the streets. Some become prostitutes, drug addicts, alcoholics. And today, kids like these are statistics because today they're dead. Covenant House helps with food, clothing, sanctuary, and most of all, someone to talk to. Call our 9 line, 1-800-999-9999.
One of the more common jobs in the world is walking 2, 3, 4 hours a day to fetch wood and water. And it's commonly a woman's job. On World Monitor tonight, women, Africa's exploited resource. And from Washington, the cowboy broadcaster senator. I'm John Hart. Join us for World Monitor tonight.
Maybe Alaska isn't all igloos and ice. Maybe the governor likes it up there.
Oh, Drexel, that's ridiculous.
I know one thing. He went up there to find out why tourists that should be coming here are going there, and he hadn't come back.
You know, I should be getting back for that range meeting.
Governor, I just canceled it.
Well, good.
We now return to the Discovery Channel's Alaska Celebration.
Even at midnight, rainbows can be seen in the sky, and the wide region looks as though it has been dipped in purple. And when the silvery light plays on the parched grasses, it seems as though time and eternity have merged together. In the tundra, the ground is permanently frozen. This permafrost determines the nature of the wilderness. It impedes water drainage and limits the type of plant growth. Here, the ground is frozen to a foot below the surface. That wasn't always so. This fossilized leaf proves this, and even more, the large oil reserves in the Arctic. The south of Alaska has considerably more water resources than the north. Here, an annual rainfall of about 100 inches is recorded. On the Noatak, on the other hand, only 50 to 75 inches. The considerable amounts of rain and snow which fall in the south and the moderating effect of the Japan current result in a humid, relatively mild climate. Dense forests with mighty hemlock pines stretch over wide areas, traversed by beautiful torrents. The 6 Mile River flows only a 2-hour car ride from Anchorage. It flows out near the old gold digger town of Hope into Cook Inlet. The riverbed of the 6 Mile contains much gold. During the 20s, hundreds of prospectors worked its banks. Many human tragedies must have been played out here. Attempts to penetrate the impassable canyons with canoes nearly always ended fatally. However, for the trained whitewater canoeist, they pose no problems. In the lower reaches, the 6 Mile River becomes increasingly difficult. It forces itself between narrow banking. It's annoying that we could no longer film precisely this degree of difficulty. Thick clouds of mist, which came from the nearby sea, killed the light. The Copper River is a glacial river. It rises in the Alaska Range and breaks through the glacier region of the Chugach Mountains, shortly before flowing into the Gulf of Alaska. At its upper reach, a road still runs along the river, but from here on, one can proceed only with a boat. We had to accustom ourselves to bear tracks and the possibility of coming face to face with a grizzly. That's part of the Alaska experience. We sensed how unprotected, how exposed man is in the wilderness. That gives all experiences with the wilderness an added attraction. We ate salmon almost every day. Hubert, our third man on the Copper River, never got to like it. According to the motto, "The peasant will not eat what he does not know," he preferred to keep to his woodcutter's omelets. Hubert's omelets didn't look bad, but fresh salmon. When would we eat that again? The life by day and night in the open air. We performed such simple activities as making a fire or washing ourselves in the ice-cold river. Contact with large and small things without being shut off by glass and metal. All that brought deep contentment. And one day, long after we have left the region, we will notice how dear, how familiar the region has become to us. The waters of the Copper River are sandy gray. Here in its lower reaches, large glaciers still enter the river. There is, above all, the Miles Glacier, which comes from the largest glacial region of Alaska, of more than 1,200 square miles. In the distance, the landscape can barely be seen, but when one approaches its break-off point, looks up at the 600-foot-high ice wall, hears its groaning and creaking, one is reminded that here, different scales apply. The kayak offers the very best opportunity to get to know this region, to gain completely new experiences. More than 10,000 rivers and streams provide 375,000 miles of unobstructed waterways into which you can dip your canoe paddle. At the bridge, which collapsed during the 1964 earthquake, one is reminded for the first time of a road. But the road only runs a few miles from here at Cordova and ends at the river. In Cordova, the kayak journey on the Copper River ended. And since the road ends at Cordova, it's best to take the ferry to reach Anchorage again. The journey on the Noatak isn't as rich in change as on the Copper River. Instead, there is the grandiose impression of sheer, limitless solitude. You can believe you are traveling into the past, seeing the world as it once was 1,000,000 years ago. The journey on the Noatak was almost finished, and so were our provisions. We hadn't caught any fish for days. The reason? Nearly all the salmon had already spawned and lay dead in the river. After 14 days, during which we had dipped our paddles into the water about 1,000,000 times, we reached the Eskimo settlement at Noatak. A crowd of happy children received us with shrieks. And here in Noatak, our long journey came to an end. We were again making contact with the civilized world. We too returned enriched. In the only vehicle in the place, which was brought here over the frozen tundra in winter, we drove to the nearby airstrip. How long will this region be able to preserve its remote beauty? Oil has already begun to alter the wilderness of Alaska. The construction of the 800-mile pipeline is only the beginning. Alaska must unlock its buried treasure to be able to make use of it. But this must not occur at the expense of destroying other treasures. Otherwise, the pictures we've seen will soon belong to the past. Dr. Wheaton, an Alaskan, says, "The world must not surrender all its secrets. It still needs undiscovered horizons, uninhabited regions where wolves hunt. Man should still be able to find a place where he can stand under the shimmering northern lights, silent, in awe, before the enormity, before the cold, before the stillness. Above all, modern society would have to prove that it's capable of maintaining a balanced coexistence between the blessings of technology and of nature, and of living in it."